All right, you got the notification, right?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So we live, man. Back here again with Andrew. Gonna recap the Packers game. This is a wild one. Um,
Yeah.
I wrote down some stuff. We can go through it. Did you
Go
write down
ahead.
some stuff? Okay, so um, I wrote a couple of things. I'm just gonna go through the list of what I wrote down, and then if you wanna, you can touch on what you thought of the game, and then we can go through the list or whatever.
All right.
Um, so the first thing I wrote down, I said that Love didn't look healthy, man. I said I think I okay, there we go. I have my YouTube tab, so it's going live over there. It's a few seconds behind, so
Oh.
um, but nah, we should be good. All right, so I wrote that Love didn't look too healthy out there. I kind of think that the right game plan should have been go with Malik and then adjust as the game goes on. I think unless Jordan was 100%, which he did not look 100% to me, he didn't. Um, I think we should have just started Malik. I think you built some confidence in on the past 2 weeks. I think it didn't hurt to see what he does and then bring in Jordan if needed. But the thing is, you started with Jordan and then went down 28-0. Like, I mean, yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. But we can get into that. Um, Defense looks a little different without Jair out there, at least in the first half. The second half, I think they only gave up 3 points. But I did write down that it looked a little different with Jair not out there. Um, Another thing I wrote down, these defensive ends on Gary. You remember when the Vikings scored a touchdown on a reverse?
Mm-hmm.
I think Gary, man, he like they show the replay. He's rushing towards the quarterback, and the receiver just runs right by him. I'm like, man, if you see a receiver in motion and he hasn't passed the center, that's the first thing you gotta look for is that reverse.
Yeah.
Instead, he rushed towards the quarterback, and then all he had to do was make Nixon miss, which is, I mean, if you're in the open field 1-on-1, I mean, a lot of defenders are not going to make that tackle.
Yeah.
I think Gary has to contain the edge. I mean, like if the receiver is past the center, okay, that's fine. Yeah, go after the quarterback. But I mean, you got to be smart, man. You got to be smart there. Um, Hold on. Hey, Matrix, we're gonna bring you up right here in a little bit. Give me a second. I think a lot of people want to join. Let me just do something real fast, Andrew. Friends. Okay, here we go. Okay. Yeah, guys. So if you want to request to join, go ahead and jump on if y'all want. Some people wanted a co-host. I don't know. We might try that sometime. But yeah. So I also wrote down we officially have a kicker issue, man. I think if Narlson makes both of those,
We win.
yeah, exactly. I think he makes both of those, we win.
Makes one of them more tied at least.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, guys? We'll let you talk here in a little bit. I just want to bring y'all up real fast, but we'll let y'all talk here in a little bit. All right, so
Yeah.
I honestly think short passes were there all game long, but Jordan Love was going deep. He was waiting for these routes to develop, and they were bringing blitzing all day long. So like short passes are there, and I just felt like we were trying to do too much. Like I also wrote down Love was trying to do way too much, man.
Yeah.
It was just chunking balls up, 3 picks, and like, dude, we're not gonna win the game with 3 picks. And like we only had 2 turnovers all game. I mean, I think 2 interceptions all season long before this game. And I know the big thing on Love was, is he gonna look like Favre or is he gonna look like Rodgers? Honestly, man, he's looking like Favre. Like sometimes he's just chunking it up, like
Yeah. Especially
and,
that touchdown or that pass to Wicks that got intercepted in the end zone.
yeah. And like I'm okay with that 1-on-1, like just chunk it up and make sure he goes and gets it. But like make sure Wicks is on the same page as you. Wicks didn't even know the ball was coming.
And I feel like he was falling away throwing that ball. Like, what are you like? It felt like almost like not a throwaway, but like what are you doing, my guy?
Yeah.
I kind of want to touch on like your first point about Love not looking healthy. He's not. He's not. You can even the announcers were saying that he was throwing off his back foot, not following through with his front leg. My thing was like we've been praising Matt LaFleur for the past 2 weeks with Malik Lewis. Why were we not running the ball?
Do what?
Why are we not running the ball? I know we got down 28-0 fast, but you still got to run the ball, man. Josh Jacobs only had 9 attempts. 9 attempts. Jordan's not going to be 100%. You almost have to take that Malik Willis approach and not dumb the offense down, but use your other weapons around you. Like, use Josh Jacobs more. Use Jaden Reed on more end rounds or whatever the case may be. Knowing Jordan Love, because we all knew Jordan wasn't going to be 100%, right? We knew he was going to play, but what happened to that? Like I said, I know we got down quick in a hurry, but at the same time, you got to use your weapons, man. That's what kind of threw me off this game.
Yeah. I think at first I didn't like the fact that he was throwing for 52 times, but the thing, or 54 times. But the thing is, get the rust out of you, man. He looked rusty, but honestly, I think it was a lot of he just wasn't 100%. I also wrote down that Jordan Love wasn't seeing the open receiver early enough, and I think that kind of hurt him. But we do got someone. I just want to see what he wants to say here on TikTok. Should be good. Braden, can you hear me?
Wants to say here on TikTok. Should be good. Braden, wants to say here on TikTok.
Dang. Hey, Braden, I'm gonna boot you off and then come back on. Okay. Let's see. Hey, what's up, man?
What's going on?
Can you hear him, Andrew?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I'm a Packers fan.
Okay, cool. Well, what were you? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, a couple of things I have. So I think the biggest thing for us was starting off the game way too slow. We started way too slow. I think Jordan Love was trying to cater to that knee the entire first half. I think the whole plan was to see if Jordan Love was able to finish through a whole game without him having to come off and having to like re-injure that knee and come out. I think that's what Matt LaFleur really wanted to see, is if he can get through a full game and not be hurting on it. I do think it hurt a lot not having Jair out there. We were having to double cover Justin Jefferson basically all game, and they have too many. The Vikings have other receivers who are very athletic, very talented receivers, and that hurt us. And then obviously having 2 missed field goals. I mean, you can't do that in the first half when you're down by that much. You can't. Yeah. If you need all the points you can get, and obviously, coming to the fourth quarter, that hurt us bad. I mean, we came back, and those 2 field goals, if we would have made it, we win the game.
Yeah, I think another thing to point out is in the second half, they only scored 3 points. But if you look at their 28 points that they scored in the first half, 2 of them came off Narvelson's missed field goals, and the other 2 came off Jordan Love's picks. So if you take away the turnovers and you take away the missed field goals, odds are they don't have 4 touchdowns. But I mean, you hit it right on the head. I think even with the way things went, if Narveson hits those 2 field goals, we probably win the game. We kind of touched. I wrote it down and said we definitely have a kicker issue. I do have a question for you as a Packers fan, because I asked Andrew this last week. I asked at one point, do you start holding Rich accountable, our special teams coordinator? Like, do you think he deserves some blame?
Yeah, no, I think he does. I think we've had a kicking problem for the past, and I'll say we've had a kicking problem for the past 4 years. It hurt us against San Francisco a couple of years ago in the playoffs.
Yeah.
We've always had when we're on punt returns, especially on punt returns, I have always had to cross my fingers and hope to God that we catch the punt, because 2 or 3 years ago, and actually when it was Aaron Rodgers' last 1 or 2 years, if you go back and look at that San Francisco game, we gave away, I believe, 1 or 2 punt returns where we went to go catch it, and we muffed it. So we've had a ton of issues when it comes to special teams. So yeah, I think some of that has to do with our special teams coordinator. I think get right guys out there, getting the right kicker. I think we need a more consistent kicker. We don't need someone who's going to go out there and kick, 50 yards. We need someone who can, within the 40-yard range, be consistent. And we haven't had that since Mason Crosby when he got a little bit older. We haven't had that since then.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Andrew. You can respond to everything you've heard from the guy on TikTok. But I also before you do that, it makes me wonder what are the Packers doing? What is Narveson doing all week long? Like, I feel like at this point, bro, you don't need to be in the study room. You don't need to be in the film room. You need to be kicking field goals, man. Like, you need to be kicking field goals all day long. I mean, and then you need some coaching. You need the special teams coordinator out there helping you. Like, hey, is this a confidence issue? Because he got the leg. Right? Like, we can't argue that he got the leg. Like, is this a confidence issue? Why are you missing to the right all the time? Let's fix this up. Like, it makes me wonder what are they doing to set him up for success all week long? Like, I mean, he should be kicking field goals all day long. I mean, he is struggling, right? So, but I'll let Andrew touch on everything we've just said. Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, man. So, the defense, like, I want to just address the defense. We did miss Jair. I think we missed Valentine out there as well. Like you mentioned, they have not just Justin Jefferson, they have Jordan Addison, who killed us. I think he had 2 touchdowns. I think that hindered Hafley's confidence in sending more pressure, because right now we cannot get pressure on QB with just 4 rushers. It's apparent that we cannot do it. The way we get pressure is sending more rush to multiple backers to the QB, and I just felt Hafley, especially in the first half, felt he was going to get the DBs were going to get exposed by one of those receivers, but at the same time, in the second half, at some point you just got to say F it and do it, right? If they're going to get beat, they're going to get beat. They were getting beat already in the first half, so why not do it? So, like I said, that I think with Jair and Valentine being out, it definitely hindered maybe some play calls that Hafley wanted to do. And as far as Narveson, that's going to be an issue. If at some point, when, like you said, Rich does have to be on the hot seat or questioning him, but at what point do we say, hey, we got to bring in another kicker to have a competition or something? Right?
Yeah. As far as that, though, like, when Narveson, like, okay, this should already wake you up as far as, hey, you can lose by having a bad kicker in the playoffs. Like, this should be a warning right here. So, like, I'm okay if the Packers move on for Narveson. Like I said, I believe in the kid, but hey, you also got to come through and, like, execute, right? But, like, with me, I'm at the point right now that if you get rid of Narveson, you got to get rid of Rich too. I'm not on board for just getting rid of Narveson. You got to get rid of Rich too, because Rich is in charge of setting up this special teams for success, and part of special teams is your kicker. Why is Daniel Wheeling? I mean, punting and kicking field goals are 2 completely different things. I get that, but why is one having success while the other is struggling? I mean, it could be just a player. I'm not saying it's not that, but at this time, Carlson had issues all season long. You bring in Joseph, okay, you didn't believe in him, but now Narveson's having issues, and the way we're going, it looks like it's going to be all year long. So some of that blame has to go on Rich. So at this point, and even before we had the kicker issues, our special teams, and I think the guy said it, the special teams hasn't looked great, even when we had Crosby at kicker. So, and Rich was there for those years. So at this point, if you are going to get rid of Narveson, because Narveson is better than Carlson, in my opinion. I mean, at least he hits all the extra points, right? At least he hits all the extra points. So at this point, if you're getting rid of Narveson, you're getting rid of Rich as well. That's what I'm doing. But I don't see them getting rid of Narveson, at least right now. I don't see it. But I'm going to bring this guy back on, see if he wants anything else to say. Did you want anything else to say, man?
Yeah, so one other thing I wanted to ask you guys about. I played quarterback in high school and in college, so I kind of get the mental understanding of where a quarterback needs to be at an A-plus game. But my question to you guys is, and I can't wrap my head around this, if you go back and look at last year, and then you kind of look at some of the plays this year when Jordan Love is playing, when there's key moments where, like, it's a 1st and 10, we're driving down the field, we're doing well, or it's a 2nd and 8, something like that. We have the opportunity, we have multiple downs where we can say, okay, we can go to the check down, we can go to, the crossing route, we can go here. We don't absolutely need to go deep. Jordan Love, and I don't know, and the question I have for you is, I don't know if he learned this from Rodgers, because Rodgers kind of sometimes did the same thing. He tried to do too much. I don't know if he learned it from Rodgers, or if it's more if he's just a young quarterback in the league and he needs to know down distance, time left in the game, and situational awareness. But sometimes he forces throws down the field, and I specifically remember last year, I don't know if it was with the Vikings or San Francisco, it was an important game, and he threw a jump ball to Chris. We were driving down the field, we were down by 3, we were driving down the field, and he threw a jump ball to Watson, and we didn't need it, and it got picked off. And the same thing happened today. We're driving down the field, and we have the potential to start the momentum, get the momentum back, and possibly go up. And he throws a deep ball, which you didn't need. And the fact that it was a deep ball, but it was inside the numbers. He overthrew it inside the numbers. You get picked off 9 times out of 10 if you throw a fade ball and it's inside the numbers. So I don't know if it's a young quarterback thing, or if it's something he learned from Rodgers. And if it is something he learned from Rodgers, he needs to get that out of his head now.
Yeah, I definitely think I don't know how long you've been on the live, but at the beginning of the live, we actually said, like, are we going to get Brett Favre are we going to see more of Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers and Love? In my opinion, I think we see more of Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers, technically, his touchdown to interception ratio, I think, is the best ever. So technically, Aaron Rodgers didn't turn the ball over as much as Brett Favre did. Brett Favre was known for throwing.
Yeah, but I think what he's saying is, like, getting that chunk, like Aaron, I agree with him. Aaron did try to get those chunk.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Just Aaron knew how to place the ball so he didn't get intercepted. That's the point. I agree. Like, he should have a lot of those times take those chunk down yards instead of throwing it deep. Like I said, I think they should have did almost a similar. And to answer your question, I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's because he's a young quarterback and he learned from Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I agree. Matt's got to get that out of his head. Take what the defense gives you. Almost do what Malik Willis is doing. Take those little short crossing yards, right? Let your receiver, Jaden Reed, is so good in open space. Let him do his work, like, right? Shallow crosses, right? And then take your chunk yardage and opportunities when you can do the play action or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I definitely agree that Jordan's forces a lot of passes downfield when our offense is moving and it kind of stalls out, or interceptions or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I want to touch on that too. I think Jordan Love does need to realize that he has to protect the ball. Like, if you look at his 2 games in Brazil in this game, and then you look at Malik Willis's 2 games, Malik Willis has been the more disciplined quarterback. And those are the 2 games that we won. If Jordan Love can just be disciplined, we are going to be a very hard team to beat. But Jordan Love needs to stop just throwing it up. Like, he had 3 interceptions today. If you ask me, he should have had more. There was times where he threw into double coverage, and it just looked ugly. Some of these throws looked ugly. He threw the ball. He threw the ball 54 times. But I will say this. I want to touch a little bit on Reed and Dobbs. We got to find a way to get the ball to Reed and Dobbs, especially Reed. Reed had 7 catches, 139 yards, 1 touchdown. That's good, but a lot of that came late. Early in the game, like, no one was getting him involved. And then I want
to talk about this too, though. Like, the receiver, they weren't catching the ball. They weren't helping Jordan out. Now, I know some of those were bad passes, but there were so many drops this game. So many. Like, I know Wicks had 2 touchdowns, but he had a bad game, in my opinion. I know, like I said, he had the 2 touchdowns, but some of his drops, I was like, come on, man. Like I said, I know Jordan was not putting enough on the ball, and that was probably because he was favoring that knee, but he got to catch it. Dobbs had a few drops. I think Tucker had a few drops. Like we were not the receivers were not helping Jordan out this game.
Yeah. One thing we gotta do though, we gotta give that Vikings D credit. They came to play, man. They came to play. I know they almost blew it at the end, but they punched us in the mouth in that first half. And I think the positive thing we could take from this game is heart. We fought all game long.
Yeah, it could have been over at the first half.
I know we haven't talked about the defense yet. I want to touch a little bit on the defense because it's so hard. I mean, it's so easy to put the blame on the defense, putting up 28 points on the first half. But if you think about it, the only time Jeff Hafley gave up a touchdown was when Narveson missed the field goal, giving Vikings good field position. And then on the two picks. Those are the only.
The Vikings' first drive.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. The Vikings' first drive was okay. That was a good drive.
No, I can't give that to the Vikings. I'm sorry, I cannot give that to the Vikings. That first drive, the way that Vikings came out, they were a little slow. I think that we should have picked that ball off.
Oh yeah,
McDuffie should have. Yeah.
The momentum from that pick moving forward would have changed the outcome of this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That first stop, the Packers rarely get like a really good first stop, like a pick on the first drive. If you go back and look at the games that we stop them on the first drive and we have momentum right then and there, the offense comes out and they play it lights out. And another thing is, especially taking advantage of red zone opportunities. I don't know if it's the plays we're calling, or I don't know if we get too antsy down there, but we need to capitalize on red zone opportunities. We've had so many the past 4 games. We've had so many opportunities to score in the red zone, and we just kind of like we sputter out of control and we don't get it, and that's what causes us to miss field goals.
Yeah, and then I'm looking at Justin Jefferson's numbers: 6 catches, 85 yards, 1 touchdown. Honestly, you can win the game if Jefferson still has those numbers. Like those are not like big time numbers, Like I think you can still win the game when you hold Jefferson a 6 for 85. Aaron Jones, 22 carries, 93 yards on the ground. He did average 4.2. He also caught some 4 for 46. If you ask me, Aaron Jones had a better game than Justin Jefferson. But even Aaron Jones, I mean, he did have his carries here and there. But, I mean, nothing special out of him either, right? I mean, he had a decent game, but nothing like, oh, my God, we lost because of Aaron Jones, right? Like, I think defensively, and I wanted to ask you this, FTI, what do you think about our defense?
To be honest with you, like I said, in my opinion, I think if we had both our corners, to be honest with you, if we had Jair, we didn't even need both corners. If we had both corners, I think I'll agree with whoever else was talking. I feel like there's plays that we can go to on certain downs, certain situations where we can rush and we can blitz, and we can send a backer. And he wanted to do that, but because of the fact that we're missing both starting corners, I feel like we had to change the scheme up and not send as much pressure. And we're trying to cover, 3 or 4 guys that are really good wide receivers with backups. And I think that hurt the play calling. I really like our defense this year. Mm-hmm. Obviously, with the Eagles, we're playing on one of the worst fields probably in NFL history while we're in Brazil. People have to give the Eagles credit. They have some of the best offensive line. They have Saquon Barkley back there. They're going to run the ball down your throats. It's going to happen. But I think what we're doing this year with the Packers defense, I think we're going to be a top 5 defense when the season's over and we go into the playoffs. I think the Packers make the playoffs. I think the defense is going to show up extremely well if we can stay healthy. I think we're going to have a top 5 defense without a shadow of a doubt. With Xavier back there, with Jair, I think, and with our linebackers, I think, to be honest with you, I think we have one of the most slept-on linebackers in the NFL. I mean, they're flying around. They can play coverage. They can blitz. I think, like I said, I think the Packers will have a top 5 defense, but I think we need to stay healthy so that our defense coordinator can get the right plays out there, blitz when he wants to, bring some pressure to the quarterback, but also, keep one-on-one with Jair and maybe a top receiver.
Yeah. The only thing I'll ask y'all also, the reason why, because we said this last week, I did not think the Vikings were going to come in and have their way. I felt like if they were going to get a win, they were going to have to earn it. Part of that reason is last year on New Year's Eve, we played Minnesota in Minnesota. and Brian Flores was the defensive coordinator for the Vikings then, and we tore him apart. I think we won 33-10. So I honestly thought Love was gonna do the same thing, but it was quite opposite. Like Love couldn't do anything against this defense for most of the game. And I feel like when he did, I mean, Brian Flores might have been playing conservative there towards the end. But like I saw us moving the ball fairly easy against Brian Flores and the Vikings last year on New Year's Eve. And then this year, man, we just couldn't move the ball at all. And going back to going down 7-0 at the beginning of the game, I know the Packers were known for taking the receive right off the bat, whether they win the toss or not. Like if they win the toss, they don't defer, they just receive. So I was a little shocked to see the Vikings get the ball first. I don't know if the Vikings won the coin toss and they're like, well, we're going to take the ball. But 9 times out of 10 lately, you have seen us get the ball first. And I was like, man, it is different when the offense goes out there 0-0 compared to when the offense goes out there 7-0. Like, I mean, it's a lot different. And also for our defense, like if we get the ball first and we go score a touchdown and the defense comes on when we're up 7-0, I mean, it's just more confidence for everyone. So I'm a big believer in taking the ball first because you want to build that confidence both offensively and defensively, especially if you can get points on the board. But did you want to say anything FTI before I bring someone else up?
No, I mean, the last thing I'll say is that I want to give the Vikings their credit. I hate the people who are like, oh, I thought you guys said you would run us over. And as much as you want to say we're quote-unquote coping for the people we're out, you just have to display the facts as is. I mean, I guarantee if Justin Jefferson was out and you guys lost by a touchdown, the Vikings would be saying the same exact thing. They'd say, oh, we didn't have Justin Jefferson. We didn't have this guy. So it's just the facts of football. If we had Jair Alexander, I think it's a completely different game. Not to say that it's going to go in our favor, but I think it's definitely a tougher game. I think the Packers just need to start off a little bit quicker. I think the biggest thing for us, and I don't want to say this is the only reason because I don't want to give too many excuses. I think Jordan Love coming off that knee injury, he was a little shaky on the knee to start the game. I think he didn't put enough oomph on the ball, to say the least. So I think as he gets better, and I think as we evolve and we try to stay healthy, I think the Packers will be fine. I think this is just a learning experience, especially to start the year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, down 28-0, and then you only lose by 2. I mean, there's some positive that come out of that. But
yeah.
All right, man. Thanks for coming up, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
All right, bye-bye. All right, so I'll bring someone else up, but what else did you want to say before I bring someone else up?
Yeah, no, I just want to reiterate. We abandoned the run game, I think, way too early.
Mm-hmm.
Way too early. Josh Jacobs was averaging 5.7 yards a carry today.
Yeah.
Like,
why do you think, Andrew? Why do you think we abandoned it?
Like I said, I get it. And when we got down 28-0, okay, we got to start getting some. We need the time. But even when it was 14-0, I felt like we didn't run the ball a lot. I don't know. And to me, it looked like Wilson was out there a lot more than Jacobs. It just that's what it appeared, especially in the second half.
Yeah.
I don't know if Jacobs is has some type of injury that he's good enough to play, but he's not, full strength or whatever. I don't know. Especially in the second half, it was kind of mind blowing that Wilson was out there a lot more than Josh Jacobs. I don't know why that is. I have no idea.
I agree, man. We can't abandon the run, man.
We ran the ball 17 times, I think.
Total?
Yeah. Or maybe 20 times, but we threw the ball 54 times.
Yeah, we ran 8.
I get it. We were down. We were trying to come back, but Lord.
Yeah, man. All right, we got another guess. All right, you good, man? What you got to say?
What's up, man?
So you a Packers fan? Who you root for?
Long-time Packer fan here. Long-time Packer fan.
All right, perfect. What are your thoughts on the game?
Bad start. Really bad start. Kicking we need to figure out because I think when we get to the postseason, it's going to be dealing with Carlson again. I think it's going to be the same situation for a close game. So that has to be figured out. I have a question, though. What happened with Greg Joseph? I thought we had him.
No, we got rid of him. They cut Carlson and Joseph at the same time. I guess they didn't have confidence in any of them.
I mean, I see why. But going back to what the person before me said, yeah, the run game has to be involved more, I believe. I think Wilson didn't too bad. I can't wait for Lloyd to come back. I think he'll be a big factor.
Yeah, for sure.
Lloyd will be a big factor. I want to get Dobbs involved more in the game, you know. I feel like he's a great receiver for us. He arguably could be wide receiver 1, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to get more involved. Wick's hands just were not there today, unfortunately. Even though he had 2 touchdowns, they really weren't there. How we're used to seeing him, especially for a guy his size and the way his athleticism is with the game.
Yeah, I think on that 4th down play where Love chunked it up in the end zone to Wicks, and it hit.
Picked off by Pat Murphy, that one?
No, not that one. The one that he actually hit him in the chest. But the defensive player kind of had a hold there. I think he got away with a little hold there. But I mean, it hit him right in the chest. I'm not sure how that went. But I mean, yeah, we were just talking about that earlier. Wicks did have a couple of drops in this game. Yeah, his hands didn't look good, even though, like you said, he had 2 touchdowns. So yeah, kicker issue for sure. We're definitely talking about that. Anything else you saw in the game?
You know, I guess sometimes the run defense in the beginning was a little slow. It kind of reminded me of week 1 against the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, run defense was kind of took them a while to figure out how to stop it. So I feel like that's something we have to commit to right away in the beginning of the game, making sure that that's shut down right away. You know.
Yeah, I think what I like about the defense in this game, they came out very sloppy, but then they made an adjustment at halftime. I think I think that's something you haven't seen from our defense in previous years. Like, our defense will never make adjustments, things like that. But Hafley did. I mean, like I said, he had a tough task without Jair, and he kind of struggled with that task in the first half. But in the second half, I mean, the defense didn't look bad. Like, I think we made 3 stops in a row coming out of the second half defensively. We made 3 stops in a row, and our offense didn't do anything with that. So, I mean, I'm not a big believer in throwing this on the defense at all. I'm more about throwing it up on the offense, and of course the kicker. The kicker got to make those kicks. Like I said, if he does, with as terrible as we played, we probably win the game if he makes both of those kicks.
All you have to do is make 1, you know, just 1 probably would have won.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Well, also another thing, you know, people were saying, I saw on Twitter, they were saying that, Malik Willis would have played better. No, you know, I think, you know,
Malik Willis
in that.
Malik Willis,
Vikings D line, I think he would have struggled a lot compared to Jordan Love.
Do you think Malik Willis has 3 picks though?
I think he would use his feet more. I think he would
have to
more.
Yeah, and see, I think that's where he would. You
can see he was limping a lot when he would come down. Also, a lot of roughing the passers. I feel like they missed a lot of calls on that. I feel like I saw him go down a couple times after the throw.
Yeah, I think the refs were horrible this game, and I was saying that when the game was 28-7, like, it wasn't even like, oh, that was a bad call when the game was close. I think that, yeah, you're right, they did miss a lot of play calls, but
it's a lot.
If you ask me, I'm a little shocked at how we even came back with the way the game was going, man. Like it was sloppy even into the third quarter, like
especially the fourth quarter too. You know, yeah, we scored 22 straight unanswered, but you know, like, we were kind of getting out 1-2-3. We weren't really getting a first down. It was 1-2-3 out. Defense would get a 1-2-3 stop. And that's how we would get back on the field.
Yeah. I mean, so you got to give the defense props for at least giving us a chance. It's just that, you know, I figured LaFleur would outsmart Brian Flores, but I think for most of the game, I think the Vikings had the Packers' offensive number. But
yeah, I gotta give him credit to do, honestly. You know.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Yeah, brother. All right, thank you.
Yeah. I just think that that Vikings defensive line, pass rush, Brian Flores was sending a lot of pass rush to see what Jordan can do, and it was getting to there. I mean, our offensive line didn't play great, but didn't play bad either in most parts. Brian Flores was just sending that pressure.
But he did that last year. He did that last year on New Year's, and Jordan picked him apart, which is why I was a little.
I think Jordan was moving a lot. I mean, you got to think about it. Jordan probably moved a lot better and threw on the run a lot better than he was today. Yeah. And I think that's the whole point. Now, if Malik Willis was in there, I'm not saying we win the game. I'm not saying he doesn't throw 3 picks or whatever, but I think the game plan is different for sure. I don't think they send that much pressure because if they send that pressure, he's getting out of that pocket and scrambling for another 70-yard, 80-yard game like he had last week. So it's hard to say. But if you're $55 million quarterback is good to go, and he said the training staff says it's good to go, you got to play him. I saw on Twitter too that we should have started Malik, this and that. Now, we should have started him just to give Jordan rest. Okay, I can see that thing, but just saying that Malik could have done better than Jordan Love, I mean, you like I said, you paid this man $55 million.
Yeah. As far as passing yards, Malik has no chance as far as Jordan Love throwing more passing yards. But I'm saying, like, let's say you start Malik and it's 7-0 Packers. I mean, it doesn't look like a bad decision regardless of how the rest of the game goes. And I'm saying, like, if Jordan Love is good to go, but he's not 100%, meaning his mobility is not 100%, even though he can play. I mean, let's be honest, he was playing with the brace, so that tells me you're not 100% healthy.
I think that's gonna be all year though. I think it's gonna be all year.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know too much. I'm not a doctor. Don't know too much about NCL sprains, but I feel like that's gonna be a thing either all year or majority of the year.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like I said, I said that last week. Our training staff is usually one of the more, like they side on the air of caution on most things and probably keep people out 1 week longer than they probably could come back. I think that if they said he was good and Jordan said he felt good, I mean, you got to put him out there. Yeah. I don't think.
So, what do you think about Minnesota then?
I think we touched on it last week. I think they had a solid. I don't think their offense is going to continue what they're doing. Their defense looks pretty solid, right?
Yeah.
Let me look at it because, like you said, okay, Sam Darnold's 20 to 28, 275, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. That's a good stat line, but it felt like in the second half he didn't really do much.
Yep.
I don't know if that was play call. I'm trying to think of, did they run it more in the second half than they did the first half? Because Aaron Jones did have 22 attempts, rushing attempts. But I don't think this is going to continue. They're going to come back down to earth eventually. I 100% believe if we would have had Jair and Halfley was able to send more pressure,
it's a different game.
I think Sam Darnold would not have his stat lines would not have looked good. Now I'm not saying we would have won, whatever, but I think we would have got to Sam Darnold a lot more than what we did, and he would have looked. It would have looked a lot different. Oh, and Sam Darnold had a fumble. We caused a fumble too. So,
yeah, and that like I said, that's one of the things I wrote down. Different defense when Jair isn't out there.
Yeah.
And Jair was injured last year for quite a bit of the season, and then to see him go out, I'm like, man, like Jair, you gotta stay healthy. But all right, man, we got another guest real fast. Hey, what's up, Jason? What's up, Jason?
Yeah. All right, man, we got another guest real fast. How we doing?
Hey, Jason, come back on because there's an echo. Unmute yourself. Okay, hold on. Dang, bro, there's a lot of people that want to join. I can't bring everyone up at once. Hold on, let's give Jason another try. All right, hello.
Hello.
All right, what's up, man?
I just got a couple takeaways from today's game.
Are you a Packers fan?
I'm a huge Packers fan. So, I'm not going to discredit Minnesota at all because that was a good team win for them. But I think the expectation of them being some super team, I think, needs to be thrown out the window. I think the Packers beat themselves horribly today. I think having 5 turnovers and 2 missed field goals will do that to you. And I see a bunch of people saying like, "Oh, Malik should have played. Malik could not hold a torch to what Love did today in terms of throwing in the air. Granted, he threw 3 interceptions. He wore that Favre jersey today, shades of Favre. But I think with almost borderline 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, you almost win the game. I don't think any of that is possible with Malik Willis today under center. Another big issue for me I guess, is they kind of figured it out, but the lack of the pass rush today kind of angered me. I will say last week against Tennessee, 8 sacks. I was riding it on the high horse here. And not taking away from Sam Darnold's game at all, but I feel like if you put some pressure on Sam Darnold, he's not going to be the guy who's been slinging and putting up numbers all week, and we couldn't really get to him today.
Yeah. How many sacks do we have? 1, 2?
I want to say it was 2. I know Quay had one, and I think
we had that strip sack too.
Okay, strip sack. And then there was one play at the end where Sam Darnold and Jones were not on the same page, and he just went down.
Oh, yes. So 3, maybe 3 or 4.
That's like 3 sacks. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but I think a lot of that had to do when they started sending more pressure. Like I said, the first half I didn't see the extra pressure. We got to be able to get to the quarterback with just our front four at some point, right? And it's not always going to hit home, but at some point we got to be able to get that pass rush with 4.
Yeah. So I want to tell both of y'all this. So we got a comment on YouTube. It says, "I'm a Vikings fan, and I'll say this: the Packers still might be good enough to win the Super Bowl." And yeah, man, I agree. I mean, okay, there's how many games in the season? 17. The odds of the Packers looking bad, like the way they did today, is bound to happen at least one time. But the only thing I'm very shocked at about this game is the Packers offense has always been very good against the blitz. When people try to blitz Aaron Rodgers, they pay the price for it. Even last year, when you tried to blitz Jordan Love, you pay the price for it. For some reason, Brian Flores had success with it today, and I have no idea why. I do not understand how, hey, they're blitzing their front 7. Okay, just dump it off. Like, no one's there in the middle of the field. Like, why are you waiting for these big routes to come? And don't get me wrong, when those routes developed, they were there. But I'm saying, when someone's blitzing you, you don't have time to develop that. So I figured LaFleur would have made a little bit more of an adjustment. Okay, you're blitzing me. But another thing the Vikings also did is they did a very good job at showing the blitz and then dropping in coverage. I think they did a very good job of that. So, I mean, like I said, you got to give them a little bit of credit. But anything else you wanted to say, Jason?
Yeah, just a couple quick things real quick. I was watching the press conference with LaFleur.
Yeah.
And he still said he is very, he's got faith in Braden Navarson. And to me, I just feel like that's the equivalence of being cheated on by your girlfriend and then just keep on denying that it doesn't happen. This dude has missed constant, easy field goals for us week in and week out. And you look at the box score again, and it's like, damn, we really could have used those 6 points.
Yeah.
I also, I don't mean to be the guy with officiating, but I will say the refs today were horrible, both sides of the ball. You had Xavier McKinney actually getting that interception, which was a bobble out of bounds.
Yeah, shouldn't have been an interception, but we'll take it.
Were catches.
Yeah. At this point, I don't even know what a catch is anymore, man.
Yeah, I mean, unless the Chiefs are playing, it's a catch. But
yeah, so let me ask you this: would you rather have Carlson over Narbison?
It's hard to say. Honestly, from what I've seen this year, I think I would have Carlson. You'd miss extra points and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's unacceptable.
I didn't see him struggle this hard this early in the season last year.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, because I don't know how long you've been on the live, but we asked this last week, and we actually asked it earlier in the live. At what point do you start holding Rich accountable, our special teams coordinator?
Well, here's the thing with the Packers, and it's always been like this. When you have a player who very severely underperforms and he needs to be off the team, they never do anything about it. Not to dwell off topic here, but I really feel the same way with Keyshawn Nixon. I feel like he's not an NFL corner, and you're asking too much of him. I think he's a severe liability, and that's the same thing with Braden. He's a liability, but I don't know how much Rich has control over it, because at the end of the day, he's given the cards that he's dealt, and he's kind of work with it. I think it's up to Goot and ultimately LaFleur to like pull the plug on this guy and be like, hey, this isn't working.
Yeah. So you're okay if they get rid of Narveson but keep Rich?
Yeah, I mean, I think what they've done on special teams this year, I feel like it's a very weird year for special teams, especially with the new kickoff rules.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's definitely time to move on from this Narveson experiment because it's week 4 and I don't keep a track record of how many he's missed, but I want to say he's missed 4 field goals this year.
All right.
Yeah, no, I think he's missed more. No, he's missed 4. You're right. He missed 1 in game 1.
Technically, last week his missed didn't count.
Oh yeah, he got bailed out last year or last week.
Yeah. Oh yeah, on the penalty, but still.
I mean,
it's inexcusable.
Yeah, I mean, but as a Packers fan, and I'm talking to both of y'all at this point, with Jordan Love going down week 1, we kind of got to be happy with 2-2, right? I mean, you got to be happy with 2-2.
I think the worst part about it, and I think you could also kind of relate to this, is like the Packers always seem to do this to us. It's like they get down in a game, and like if they lost 35-14 today, I'd be like, damn, that sucks. But they always have to make it a game.
Yeah. But all right, because we do know we have we still have more games for Sunday, so we're gonna get off pretty soon. I did want to bring up one more person though, but did you want to say anything else, Jason?
Nothing much. Just hope we can rebound.
Yeah.
Keep making a run and go Pack go.
Go Pack go.
All right, man. Thanks for coming up.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right. So before I bring on the last guest, did you want to touch on anything?
No. I mean, we kind of touched on a lot of stuff. It's a lot of special teams talk today, mainly so because, like I said, Narveson, man, you guys, and I think you guys said it at the beginning, he's missing wide right all the time. It's not like it's going left or right, short. It's always wide right. So it's got to be something technical with him. As I know you had asked them, the two or a few people that have joined, if it's time to get rid of him. I know I'd asked a question.
You have to at least see improvement over these next few weeks.
Yeah, but my thing is, who do you bring in? Like,
no, you're right. But my thing is, anyone who has kicked a field goal in the NFL up to this point, bring him in. Like, I mean, because
at least make it a competition, right? Like a kicking competition or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, because what did he miss? He missed a 49-yarder. Okay. That
was a closer one, I thought, too.
No, I think it was a 37 and a 49er. The
49er, okay, I give you a little pass.
Yeah, but he's known for missing the 40s. That's the issue. And then you miss, like, my thing is, like,
anything under 40, you should not be missing.
Yes, exactly. Anything under 40, you shouldn't be missing. It should be, like, I mean, it makes me wonder, what is he doing at practice? But it wasn't just him; it was Carlson and then Greg Joseph. They didn't even believe in him.
And it might be a mental thing. We might be talking technical. It might be a mental, because I feel like every time I see on Twitter or whatever pregame, he's hitting from everywhere. Right, practice, he's hitting everything. Right, from what I've heard or seen. I mean, I'm not there, but it's just, and then when we get into the game, he misses. So it might be mental. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there is a possibility, but like one thing Narveson needs to know is like, hey, I'm not saying we lost the game because of Narveson, but I'm saying we definitely win the game if Narveson hits field goals. And, every time you miss a field goal, especially when you're trailing and you send that defense back out there with good field position for the opposite team, I mean, yeah, it's tough. It's tough to win games that way. So at this point, LaFleur, like if it's 49 plus and you got a 4th and short, I mean,
I would go for it.
At this point, I think at this point you still got to give Narveson the benefit of the doubt. However, if he does not improve from now until Thanksgiving, you got to bring someone else in, man, because you can't lose that way in the playoffs when you've had all the warnings early in the season. Like you can't. I think.
So interesting question then. Or interesting scenario that I was kind of nervous about. what if we made this comeback, we come down, and then it does come down to a Narson field goal to win it, like, or like,
and he makes it,
or whatever. I don't know. Like, yeah, and he makes it.
well,
Does
then, if you want the honest answer,
yeah,
the honest answer is not what I think should happen, but I think the honest answer is everything gets swept underneath the rug because he hits the game winner for you.
winner.
But in reality, I think it still needs to be addressed.
Oh, for sure.
It still needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't watch enough team. Like, I watch football, but I don't keep an eye on the kickers for other teams. Well, why do I feel like we're the only team struggling with, like,
kickers?
This scenario, right? Like, holding our breath every time our kicker goes into the game.
Yeah.
To make a field goal like that. I don't know why I feel like we're the only team like that. We might not be, but it just feels that way.
And it's a huge red flag not having a kicker, man. It's a huge red flag. Like, because when it comes playoff time, the only way Narvison is not going to be an issue is if you're blowing out your opponent all game long. But like that, I mean, come playoff time, that's probably not going to be the case.
Yeah,
like Narvison's gonna have to make some plays. He's gonna have to go 4 for 4 on his field goals, 3 for 3, 2 for 2. Like, you're not gonna be able to miss one in the playoffs, man. Because at the end of the day, yes, you can lose by 3 because your quarterback messed up, right? I mean, your kicker, not your quarterback. But you want to bring up one more person?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see, they're still here. I guess that guy left alive.
Oh, yeah.
Hello? Yeah, what's up, man?
What up?
Who's your team?
Oh, the Bears.
Oh, we got Bears fan in here. What's up, man? What do you think about NFL Sunday?
I knew what was going to happen. The Bears are going to win. The Packers lose. It's a good Sunday when that happens.
Bears did win.
Hey, you don't get a lot of those Sundays, so I hope you enjoy it.
No, that's what I'm saying. It was an enjoyable Sunday for once.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I didn't have y'all beating the Rams.
Nah, me neither.
I mean, I think it was bullshit that they were Jordan Love back so quickly.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. I said that I do not think he looked 100%. From what I see, a lot of people were against, like a lot of Packers fans were against starting Malik Willis. I was never against it. I thought you can bring him in and then adjust to how the game goes. Like, if it gets ugly, you bring in Love, but if it stays close, maybe, I don't know. Like, I thought there was a lot of stuff that LaFleur could have done this week. He decided to go with Love. So at the end of the day, I think it was more of LaFleur asking Love, how do you feel? And Love was like, I'm good to go, coach. I think it was more of something like that happened.
I think Malik Willis led them to that y'all 2-0. I think you guys should have ran with them until Jordan Love was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
So that I hear that too. Now let's call a spade a spade. Malik Willis faced the Colts and the Titans. Like, we can all agree Minnesota is better than both of those teams, right?
I'll agree that they're better, but I still agree that Malik still has to come out and perform against professional teams, regardless if it's the Colts and the Titans. And let's be honest, the Colts and the Titans are not the worst in the league. I mean, they probably are below average, but they're not the worst in the league. So,
no, yeah, you're right. You're right. But I mean, there's certain tiers that in the NFL, right? Like, we're confident that Malik can play in the NFL level, right? That's we've seen it already. But there's tiers to this. Like, I at this point, after 4 weeks, we got to say Minnesota is a top tier team, right? Their defense is top tier. To say Malik would have a better game, I don't know.
I mean, I think also, like, if you say, oh, Malik wouldn't have done anything against the Vikings, I mean, you're kind of at the same time saying LaFleur wouldn't have done anything against the Vikings because whatever Malik would have been doing is because of LaFleur. Like Malik's not going to go out there and do his own thing. He's going to do whatever LaFleur calls him to do. And I like that Malik was very, very disciplined when he played. Like he didn't just throw it up like Love did today. Now, don't get me wrong, Malik was not down 28-0 either, but at the same time, Love got to realize, okay, it's 28-0. There's still a half to play. Like I just need to get that next play. And when they interviewed LaFleur at halftime, that's what he said. He said, "Hey, we're not going to get it all back at once. We just got to make one play after the other." But it didn't look like Love was trying to do that. I mean, it looked like he was trying to grab it all at once. And I mean, I think like when you got momentum coming, right? You got momentum coming, and then you just chunk it up in the end zone and hope Wicks can go up and get it. I mean, that's not discipline right there, Andrew. Like it's not discipline at all. Either take the sack or scramble and throw it away, man. But why are you throwing it up? I mean, I don't get it. Like I think it was very undisciplined. And then even with all the undisciplined plays, like I'm shocked that it still came down to the wire, man. Like I'm shocked. That just tells you how good of a team we are. We make all those mistakes and we're still in it. Like
and that's got to be the silver lining of this game is that we were still in the game at the end or close towards the end, even shooting ourselves in the foot, right?
Yeah.
I know we say, like I said, Matt LaFleur was in his bag with Malik Willis. I don't know if Matt LaFleur had a good game today.
I don't think he did.
I mean, even though Jordan was chunking the ball up and that was Jordan's decision to do that, I still, like I said, the running game, like where did that go? Like, why did we stop running the ball, right? So I don't know. Maybe with Malik it is different. It is different play calls, but I think Matt should have stuck to the similar play call with Jordan Love coming back off an injury that he would have done with Malik. That's just, I mean.
Yeah, I want to see because I know we only ran the ball 19 times, but what was the average per carry though?
Jacobs had like 5.7 per carry. Wilson had 3.4 per carry.
Yeah, so definitely over 4.0 average. That's all I care about. As long as it's over 4.0. So yeah, that just tells you right there, like you could have had success running the ball more. I mean, but yeah, I mean, when was the last time we had a Packers quarterback throw over 50 times? I can't even remember the last time that happened. Like, geez. Yeah, that 3 interceptions does not look good either. I mean, he almost threw for 400 yards though. I don't think he's ever done that.
Let's say this. One of those interceptions probably shouldn't have been an interception though.
Are you talking about the one that went through Kraft?
Kraft and
my initial reaction was that can't be put on J Love, but after watching it again, it was a bad throw. Like it was too high.
I don't think it was going to Kraft. I think it was going to. Somebody ran a wrong route. I think it was one of the tight end or the somebody ran a wrong route. I think he was going to who was it? Wicks, Dobbs, whoever. Yeah, I think it was supposed to go to him.
That's a possibility.
I think he had him beat. I think if I remember correctly, he had that DB beat, and I think Kraft went up, tipped it, which I guess changed the angle of the ball, which then made Dobbs miss it or whoever it was, and then the DB landed right in DB's arms. And that's another thing. The bounces just didn't go our way today either.
Even that touchdown pass to Jefferson, like when it just hit him in the chest.
Yes, Keyshawn had perfect coverage. Like I'm not even mad at Keyshawn on that.
Yes, perfect coverage. When I saw that, Andrew, I was like, dude, literally nothing is going our way.
Yeah, I mean the incomplete passes that got overturned. Like Minnesota won all their challenges today. Like nothing went our way today. And we, like I said, and we were still that close of making that comeback. So
yeah, so we're hitting that hour mark. I want to bring up one more guest if I can. However, I want you to get everything out that you got before we bring them up. Like, is there anything else you wanted to?
No, that's it. Like I said, 2-2 onto LA.
Which is gonna be a tough task.
Yeah, onto LA. Like I said, it's a tough loss today, but like you said, this team showed heart of trying to make that comeback. 22 points in the fourth quarter. We should have like that third quarter was bad, man. Like I thought once we scored the second quarter, getting the ball back in the third, I was like, okay, if we score 14-point game, let's go. And we didn't do anything in the third quarter. It kind of dampened the mood a little bit, but we said the only silver, like I said, silver lining out of this game is we made it a game, and we played like not the best.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Hold on, I'll bring you in, Nick. Give me a second. Before we go to Nick, I want to give Daniel Whelan his flowers, man. 3 punts, 2 inside the 20, and he averaged 60 yards a punt. That's just pretty good. But I mean, you don't want to get too much flowers to your punter because that means your offense ain't doing anything.
Yeah.
But,
well, I mean, his first punt got us our first touchdown, basically.
Yeah.
Even though Matt LaFleur must threw that away.
Oh my God. Well, in his defense, the guy was
called timeout.
I think that's when I was like, dude, some of these refs gotta go, man. Like,
yeah, he was calling timeout. But my thing was, why didn't we not run the ball? Run the ball inside the one, like run the ball. But yeah. Jordan made the touchdown, so I guess all is forgiven.
That was a good throw and even a better catch by Reed. That was probably our best play all game. Like that was great. All right, so let's bring on Nick. Wait, what's up, Nick?
Why y'all didn't run the ball? I'm trying to figure out on the play where you said nothing went your way. I hardly agree with that because the interception y'all had, he bobbled that shit and he was out of bounds, so that wasn't even an interception. But prior to that, the same play that we threw the interception, you talking about running the ball. We were on 2nd and 1. Why the fuck didn't we run the ball?
Wait, what are you talking about?
The play where McKinney got the interception where he bobbled it and it should have been incomplete because once he got possession, he was out of bounds. And that dude just said, y'all should have ran the ball more. I'm on the other side of it thinking we should have ran the ball more. The same play we threw the interception, it was 2nd and 1, and we ran for like 8 yards the play before. So why the hell is you not running the ball?
I mean, y'all did run the ball 33 times. I mean, that's a lot.
Okay. And I had another one that was dumb as shit that I couldn't begin to figure out was even when it got to a 9-point game, you chose to run the ball, but you chose to run a toss, which is retarded because you're only trying to get 1 yard wide. You're throwing the ball 7 yards backwards to get 1. And then you proceed to follow that up with a wide receiver reverse to try and get 1.
Yeah. Actually, at the end there, I think what they were trying to do, I think they were trying to get Jones his touchdown because, like, I think
they were definitely forcing that.
I think y'all were trying to get Jones that touchdown because
I'm not mad at giving the ball to Jones. What I'm mad at is running a toss. Just run the shit up the gut. You need 1 yard on 2 plays. Why are you running a toss and then a reverse?
No, yeah, I'll be honest with you. I think if y'all run up the gut instead of running that toss, I definitely think Jones gets his touchdown, if I'm being honest. But yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, man, that reverse, you're talking about the end of the game, right?
Yeah, he's talking about the end of the game.
Yeah, that reverse, that was a first down. I think that was a horrible spot by the refs.
I thought that was a first down. Yeah, that ball spot was trash.
Yeah, I thought that spot was bad for the refs. But, yeah. Like I said, overall, I think the officiating was bad in this game. For both sides. Because that Xavier McKinney interception was not an interception. Like I said, we'll take it as Packer fans, but that wasn't an interception.
I don't even know why Naylor tried to catch that punt because he couldn't see because the sun was in his eyes. So why the fuck?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you would have let it bounce, it probably would have went bouncing to the end zone.
Yeah, y'all definitely should have let that go.
I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but I mean, y'all got the win.
Minnesota.
Oh man, I mean, I gotta give y'all's flowers because I'll be honest. I think this was the game where if you were sleeping on the Vikings, you definitely got to stop sleeping on them now. They just went to Lambeau.
The only other drive that really pissed me off was the one right after the Naylor one where we didn't get the first down. Was the defense giving up a touchdown in 1 minute? That pissed me off.
You're talking about after the wide receiver reverse?
After the reverse one. Yeah, that one. That coverage on that drive was atrocious.
Yeah, it looks like Brian Flores took his foot off the gas pedal a little bit there.
I think his mindset was maybe he didn't care if they scored because he was up by 9 anyways.
Yeah, could be. Could be.
And I mean, the odds of getting an onside kick, I think there's only been one recovered this year. The Cowboys did it.
Especially because you got to tell the other team now that you're going
for it. Yeah. Speaking of that, I don't like that.
enough to get an onside.
I didn't.
How you have to tell the other team.
Yeah, I don't like you can only do it in certain situations. You have to tell the other team.
Right.
I think that's dumb.
Yeah.
Isn't it like you can? Isn't it only in like inside of 2 minutes? I think like 2 minutes.
Only in the fourth quarter, inside 2 minutes, and you have to be trailing.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Hey, did the Jets win?
No, they lost. I think.
Yeah.
Damn. I don't know.
They lost.
Somehow this bum, Bo Nick had 60 passing yards and they won.
Yeah.
Well, that dude is atrocious. At halftime, I think he had negative 17 passing yards.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's something crazy. I saw that too. It was something crazy like that.
I'm reading the comments right now. They said Jet lost by a missed field goal. Hey, Maureen, did Texans win? Texans won, right?
Yeah, Texans won.
Yeah, he won like right at the end.
Yeah, that game came down to the wire too.
But you know what pissed me off for fantasy right now? I'm up by 10 points, and the last player I had left was Rashid Rice, and this dude gets injured right in the beginning of the game.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey, so let me ask you, as a Vikings fan, because let's be real, like me, you, and Andrew, everyone had the Vikings in last place before the season started.
I didn't think they were going to be last. I thought we were going to come into second. I thought the Bears were still worse.
Really?
I always thought the roster was solid, and then like the guys that we signed, I looked at it as the only real big piece we missed was Hunter, but we turned Hunter into Bernard and Van Ginkel. So to me,
Jonathan Bernard, beast.
I think the Bernard signing was probably the best one. The Van Ginkel one we had was probably the best signing.
Yeah, Jonathan Bernard's a beast. He used to play for Houston, so a beast.
I still don't know how the hell Jordan Love got rid of that one pass where I thought for sure he was getting sacked on that one. The one where he threw it out to the back of the end zone. I don't know how he got rid of that.
Oh, where he just chunked it up. Yeah, yeah.
Look like Mahomes out there. Nah. Honestly, I thought it was a bad throw. It could have been intercepted. I don't think it was like that far out of the end zone. I think someone could have got it if someone was there. I was like, oh my gosh, but no. But I was saying, I think I personally think Love should have had more interceptions this game. If I'm being honest, there was some throws that he made that, man, they almost got picked off.
Yeah, the fact that Byron Murphy somehow made 2 good plays, because this dude stayed pissing me off the whole season. This guy could easily have about 2 more interceptions. But like when we played the 49ers, he dropped one, and the very next play they scored a touchdown. The one that he dropped against the Niners hit him right in the chest.
Yeah.
And then last week he dropped one too.
Yeah, just want to address a comment. Maureen, that's what I said. I said they should have started Malik Willis and adjusted as it went, because if you
thought what they were gonna do was like someone was saying y'all was gonna play both of them, but they didn't do that.
I heard that too. That they were gonna mix in Willis. But I think just the way the games were going, like with Willis, how he was very disciplined, giving the team a chance to win. I think you start him out, right? And then if you go down 14-0, you bring in Love, especially when Love isn't 100%. Because as a Vikings fan watching the game, you can tell Love wasn't.
To be honest, I thought it was going to go the other way. Since we were down 28-0, I thought they were going to bring Malik in. So, it was kind of bad, that we're down bad. So, like, why might as well, right? Keep Jordan Love on the sideline for the rest of the second half. I thought they were going to bring Malik in, but
yeah, I'm just like, if you ask me, if you throw in Malik Willis, it's very hard for me to say, oh, the Packers are still down 28-0 with Malik Willis. Like, dude, you had Love out there and you went down. Yeah. And I mean, no. The thing is, the good thing about starting Willis is no one has a lot of film on Willis. Like, he has 2 starts with the Packers and then 3 starts before that. Like, there's not a lot of film on Willis. So, I mean, it would have been a tougher task. But honestly, I think Brian Flores went into the game all week like, oh, we're going up against Love, because I mean, he did have a good game plan.
I had the mindset that he was gonna, like, once they kept saying he was limited, I had the mindset that he was going to play the whole time, but I really thought they weren't going to say he was going to play until, like, right before the kickoff. But they did it yesterday.
Yeah, they did it yesterday, yeah. But, all right, man. Yeah, y'all got the dubs. Good luck the rest of the season. Anything else you wanted to say before we move on?
No, that was it. Appreciate it. You have a good one.
All right, brother. Take care. All right. So, all right, let's look at some of these comments on YouTube. We just had that one comment. I addressed it. Let's see what else people are saying on here. Someone said Love is mid. Sam Darnold owns you. I'm loving this Green Bay downfall.
Downfall.
Okay, so I know 29-31, 2 missed field goals, which would put it at 35-31 Packers win. We need a clutch kicker. Yeah, I wrote down a few things. The number one thing is we obviously have a kicker issue, and we also mentioned that if we make both of those field goals, we probably win, even with as ugly as the game went. Yeah, that's about it. But all right, man. You want to recap later on in the week?
Yeah, we can do a recap for the rest of these games going on. I've got the TV on, kind of interesting right now. Washington's up against Arizona 24/7. Oh man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check in on the other games now. Thank you guys. Thank you for everyone that came up. Thank you for the comments. We'll do a recap of Week 4 after Monday Night Football. So we'll come back then. Modine, yes, I did get it, man. Thank you so much, Modine. I did get it. It did come through. All right, guys, we're gonna head out for now. Thank you for coming.